I'm Adrian, the cruise and travel guy. Carnival has taken over as Australia's only true year-round cruise line, which means they have all the power. But what are they doing with it? Early reports from passengers on board Carnival Adventure and Carnival Encounter have suggested that instead of things improving, they've actually taken a step backwards. So are we giving Carnival too much of a free pass? Let's talk about it. When you're planning your next cruise or holiday, head to my website first where you can search, compare and book. With P&O Australia gone, the local cruise market is now under Carnival Cruise Line's control. And with that control comes responsibility. They've had months to plan this transition, yet based on what we're seeing, it's not exactly a smooth rollout. Passengers on board the very first Carnival Adventure and Carnival Encounter cruises have been vocal on social media, and their complaints are strikingly consistent. If these were isolated issues, I'd give them less weight, but across social media and cruise forums, the same problems keep popping up. First, there are tech and point of sale issues, which I think are to be expected to a degree. New systems take time for crew to master, and software updates are usually not without their issues, so we'll let that one slide for now. But beyond the tech, complaints keep stacking up. Bar service is apparently slower than before, and guests are back to signing paper receipts after every drink order, something P&O passengers haven't had to do for a long time. Carnival did promise to retain or grandfather P&O's drinks packages for those that had purchased them prior on these earliest cruises, but it looks like that has been a challenge for many people. Many are struggling to get them recognized or spending time chasing refunds at guest services, and some are even giving up the fight and just paying out of pocket. Plus, some bars are outright refusing to make mocktails. And for those who are booking Byron Beach Club, some of the perks there seem to have gone as well. Previously included extras like snack and fruit baskets and even branded thongs, those are flip-flops for my American viewers, are not available anymore. It's not a huge deal, but it's still a downgrade. And then there's dining confusion. P&O used physical menus in its restaurants. Carnival is pushing digital menus and a virtual queue system. I personally liked this system when I cruised on Luminosa. It meant less waiting in line, but many passengers had no idea it was required. Instead of walking up and getting seated or being put in a queue to wait for a table, they were turned away and told to book their table on the app. This, to me, is where Carnival dropped the ball. A company of this magnitude should be nailing its communication. A simple printed guide in every cabin upon boarding, pre-cruise email information to let people know what to do, something. Instead, passengers seem to be figuring this out on their own as they go. And before anyone says, Adrian, you're jumping the gun, I get it. These are very early cruises in the piece, and things will smooth out over time, I'm sure of it. But that's not really what this is about. This is about a multi-billion-dollar company setting expectations. Carnival is not a scrappy underdog like P&O was. They are the biggest cruise line in the world. Just last week at the Sydney launch of Carnival Adventure, President Christine Duffy made it clear that taking over P&O allows them to operate at greater economies of scale, i.e. reduced cost to them, and that's fine, but then we should expect more. And I haven't even mentioned yet that passengers on Adventure and Encounter are paying extra for things that are included on Splendor and Luminosa. So where does that leave us? Well, I'm not here to drag Carnival for the sake of it. I love cruising, but I also believe in holding cruise lines accountable. And the reality is they've had ample time to prepare for this transition, but on the surface at least, and in fact in practice and in what people are experiencing, it looks like they have failed to appropriately set expectations and communicate. That's why in a few weeks I'll be putting my money where my mouth is and jumping on board to experience it all for myself firsthand. And as always, I'll be back to you with a full report that is fair, honest, and objective. So are we letting Carnival off the hook too easy? Should we be holding them to account? Or am I being too tough? I'm sure if I am, you'll let me know in the comments. Either way, if you want to see what happens as I travel, head over to Facebook and Instagram at The Cruise and Travel Guy. That's where I update things day to day, and it's the best place to follow in between my main videos over here on YouTube. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you soon. They've had months to plan this. A very specific failure when it comes to setting expectations and subsequent. And the reality is they've had ample time to